Hello and welcome to our NewsX podcast show, which is Get Candid with Chitvan. Here with me is Rohan Arora, co-founder of Evolve, stands for forefront of mental health innovation and tailored specially for LGBTQI community. Hi Rohan, how are you?
Hi, Chitvan. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm great, Rohan. So, how did you start this LGBTQ and what is your community is all about?
So we started something called as Evolve, which is a mental health app, like you mentioned, for this community.
Mhm.
In the product, what we are really focused on is improving mental health outcomes and the kind of challenges that somebody from the LGBTQI community faces. So starting from content that helps them structure their thoughts, uh, and content very tailored to the kind of challenges that somebody from the LGBTQ community faces,
Yeah.
right? Like, for example, coming out to loved ones or just dealing with microaggressions at work, or like you would know if you have any friends in the community, just like daily challenges that somebody from the community faces because they don't feel normal,
Yeah.
right? So to say. So I feel the right kind of content is what we've been able to provide, just so that people can know that what they're going through is very normal. Second, we also provide now an in-app community for people to then seek out any kind of support, any kind of conversations that they're going through every day.
Yeah.
And now we also plan to, in the next quarter, plan to launch coaching. What I mean by coaching is basically therapy services for somebody who is facing mental health problems.
Can you share me with the inspiration and vision behind creating Evolve?
Yes, I think evolve is evolve is basically my co-founder Anshul. He started off Evolve in 2000 and I think much earlier, and the shape and form of Evolve was actually very different. So he was doing workshops
Okay.
for people in Bombay to really help them and support them in their mental health journeys. And there is when he realized that people, and starting from CEOs to students to housewives to senior professionals in companies, nobody really knows how to manage their emotions. Like every day we go through like an upheaval of emotions because of, say, something that has happened in our life. There was too much traffic, or there's a breakup that you've had, or you're suffering from depression, right? So you're facing a plethora of emotions, but you don't know how to manage them. So Anshul started doing workshops for
Mhm.
people, and he realized that there was basically a lack of a solution. So he said, let me create a product that can therefore then scale, because workshops, so you can only reach 30 people in a time. So his vision was to really scale, providing support for emotional health and emotional intelligence to build resilience. Uh, and I think we've come a long way. Our focus on the LGBTQ community comes from my personal experiences of being a gay man and growing up in India as a closeted gay man, and being very scared throughout my life to express myself authentically, because I was always scared that somebody will find out and what will happen, and how will I deal with the kind of jokes that they will make, the caricaturization of somebody uh, who's part of the community was very popular at that point of time while I was growing up. But having said that, I've seen my own journey, and I've also interacted with so many friends from this community, right? And I've realized, and made me realize that the kind of challenges that this community faces are very, very different. They're chronic. So it's always at the back of your mind that somebody will discover who you are. It's always in the cultural context that it's bad to be part of this community, or it is not accepted. Your loved ones were supposed to give you psychological safety, like your parents.
Yeah.
they reject you, right? So I heard so many of my friends talk about how they were struggling or they were having challenges. So I knew that there was this challenge that we needed to solve for, which was mental health for this community specifically. Then we also did a lot of primary research, read a lot of about 100 to 150 papers globally, um, and realized that in the US,
Mm-hmm.
there is something called as a DSM charter, जहाँ पे homosexuality was actually a mental illness,
Yeah.
right? So in 1970s, that got removed, um, but still uh, there's lack of research, right? So we said that अगर ये problem solve करनी है तो uh, ये research हमने देखा that there was a lack of research, and whatever research was there,
Mm-hmm.
it talked about how this minority stress. So जो मैंने बताया कि a lot of the kind of stressors that members of this community, this minority stress needs a different approach,
Yeah.
right? So that became our inspiration, saying कि this is a different problem. It is very personal to us, and it's a growing community. So LGBTQ community is growing because information products like ours is really driving acceptability
Yeah.
in conversation. Also, there's a lot happening in the macro environment as well, right? If you know that the Supreme Court, it was brought to Supreme Court this year to legalize same-sex marriage. So a
Yeah.
lot of debate and conversation advocacy is normalizing. So there are more people who are trying to come out uh, as their authentic selves. So we decided that we want to help this community specifically.
Very nice. So, what unique challenges did you encounter while developing a mental health app, especially for the LGBTQ community?
There were three broad challenges that we faced.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one, for to build any mental health app,
Yeah.
you have to build really a safe space. So one of the biggest challenges that we continue to face and solve for is that it's not a Swiggy, it's not a Zomato, it's not कि Google Pay कि आप आए transaction कर लिया और खुश हो गया. Being your mental health is a long process. It's habits, it's behavior change, and therefore you need to feel safe when you come to a product like ours, right? Second big challenge that we realized was that while everybody talks about mental health and seeking mental health support, paying for something like this is still is still a distance away. Members of this community and in India, everybody writ large, it's not normalized to pay for mental health, right? Because there's still a stigma attached. लोगों को लगता है कि हम mental health के solutions ले रहे हैं तो there's something wrong with us. I think normalizing help-seeking behavior is something that we are fighting for. So I think just the getting paid for this and building a business which sustains a small team, and we also get a salary, is something that it requires a lot more effort. I think the third biggest challenge
Mm-hmm.
uh, that we face as a mental health company is a problem with the category itself, which is that there is a lack of objectivity
Yeah.
and measurement in the category, that if you're doing well, you're not able to showcase ki you're doing well. Like when you're reducing weight, you have a metric which says that आपका weight इतने से इतना हो गया, फिर इतने से इतना हो गया, कम हो रहा है या बढ़ रहा है. जैसे
Mm-hmm.
ब्लड प्रेशर, अगर आप इंसुलिन लेवल्स हो गया, अगर डायबिटीज के पेशेंट्स हो, अगर ब्लड प्रेशर इज एन ऑब्जेक्टिव मेजर, राइट? मेंटल हेल्थ में एक चैलेंज ये होता है कि consumers, users don't know day-to-day basis how they're doing on the mental health. They can feel it, but only those who are connected to how they're feeling know how what is happening with their mental health.
Yeah,
But
totally very true. How does Evolve ensure that its content and resources are inclusive and tailored to the unique needs of the LGBTQ community?
I think we once we decided to solve this problem, inclusivity
Mm-hmm.
became one of the biggest agendas for us. So thanks for asking a very relevant question. I
Mm-hmm.
think for us, inclusivity comes by really democratizing the kind of content that we create. And what I mean by that is we build content by and for this community, which means that we partner with a lot of experts from this community. We work with users who had lived experiences in this community, right? So, in fact, there are meditations on the app which give opportunities for trans women to really come and
Mm-hmm.
recite meditations on the app. So, ensuring that members of this community are also getting an opportunity to be a part of Evolve, because I don't think that we can create this on our own. It is more of a platform that we are building in the long run where people can share their experiences, right? That is one. The second is we've ensured that the kind of language, the brand tonality, the brand styling, everything is very inclusive. It is accepting of everybody who's downloading the product,
Yeah.
right? So the brand as well as the kind of content that we build is really welcoming to all genders, all communities, all sexualities, all castes, all religions, right? So that is a small endeavor to make inclusivity embedded into our product.
So nice of you. So, my next question to you: Evolve hosts live support groups and even during Evolve Pride Month, right? Can you tell us about more these innovative and their impacts?
Yes. So I think we are focused on really building innovation in the mental health space. We all know that um, the kind of challenges and the rise in challenges because of many reasons, right, need to be solved by innovation and through technology, right? So how do we really build that innovation and technology in our attitude, in our product? One of the experiments that we ran was the live support groups,
Okay.
where members from this community
Mm-hmm.
globally, whether it's from USA to India to Canada to Ukraine, could join the product and discuss about whatever challenges that they were facing. And it's in community that a lot of these solutions come through. Some of the other experiments that we are planning to do as we scale,
Mm-hmm.
right, is really help our users um, use AI, for example, right? So we use AI to help users introspect on their thoughts. So how can we ask AI some? I mean, one interesting insight that we realized was that members of this community actually are more comfortable speaking to AI than speaking to a human, because humans can bring in their own biases. So that is bringing in AI into the product is one thing that we are doing. Another thing that we are launching very soon is really chat support. So
Mm-hmm.
you can speak to a therapist through
So nice.
chat. Hmm. I think we'll keep you posted on how those experiments go.
For sure, for sure. So I want to know about your future plans. Like, what future developments and features can user look forward to in this Evolve company and community as well?
Yes, so I think in the future, one big thing that we are adding is the therapy and coaching layer. So users will be able to speak to humans and therapists on the other side of the platform.
Yeah.
The other big thing that we foresee becoming a massive game changer for mental health is AI,
Hmm.
right? So how do we really build personalized interventions? Because mental health is extremely personal. The kind of solutions for every individual are very personal. That is one big thing that we are currently working on with our tech team and the product team, and that's something that is really exciting. AI is changing the world, and it has to change, and it will change the kind of solutions that we build for the mental health category as well. The third big thing that we are building at Evolve is really branching out communities in a big way. So in-app communities will have a life of their own, and that is where we see a lot of exciting engagement across the globe. So right now we are still focused on uh, somebody who is a moderator posting on our communities, The new thing that we are launching is that we'll allow users to start posting on our communities. So that is very exciting for us.
So nice. My very last question to you. So, how has working on Evolve impacted your personal understanding of mental health within the LGBTQ community?
I think great question, Chitvan. Thanks for asking. I think uh, this evolve has been an important part of my life, and then now being focused on such a mission driven outcome, right? Like has really brought my energy levels to the maximum. Like
Yeah.
I feel extremely excited about going to work every day because of the kind of users love that we face, the kind of reviews that we get. I think our knowledge about how to solve this challenge has also evolved, so to say. We have realized that we have to build with support and for the community. So we are now partnering with many stakeholders in the ecosystem. We know that we cannot do this alone. We also have investors who have backed us. I think the second big learning for us and personally for me has been that whenever you're building a tech solution, you can learn and fail fast.
True.
So just making sure that we are learning quickly and failing fast and then really growing so that our users get the right product as soon as possible. So I think those are a couple of things that I've learned as we've scaled and all.
So, what advice would you give to other tech entrepreneurs looking to create inclusive and impactful digital platform?
Yeah, I think that's not a simple answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the first and the foremost thing that I would recommend anybody who's building inclusive and impactful work and products is really find out how driven by the impact are they. So just go deep into trying to understand why you're building something so that every day is going to be a challenge. So as long as you know the why of what you're doing, I think that is the most important advice that I would give you. The second is building inclusivity consciously into the product, into marketing, into technology, starts from building inclusivity in the team. So if you are building inclusive products, then you have to ensure that there is representation, because that's where the ideas, that's where the frameworks, lived experiences come into the fabric of the company, the fabric of the product. So, in fact, our technology officer is a woman. She's part of the leadership team. So, um, we have a lot of members of this community as a part of the small team that we have. So, ensure that you're also building that inclusivity in your own team, so that the solution that you build is actually for the kind of audience that you're going after. And finally, I would just say that look, uh, inclusivity itself is never a check mark,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right? We don't think of inclusivity as a check mark. We think of inclusivity from the perspective of really solving problems,
Yeah.
right? So think of how you're solving problems rather than just doing inclusivity for the sake of doing inclusivity.
This is a good note to end. And thank you, Rohan, for being a part of Get Candid with Chitvan with NewsX. And it was a lovely conversation. I hope people got aware that this is the right time to think about yourself, your mental health, and totally it's all up to you whether you want to choose it or not. And this is a good note to end. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you to Get Candid with Chitvan.
Thanks, Chitvan. Appreciate your time.